been talking about it a little bit, but I think we want to get, a whole lot deeper before we get into the expert focus segment. So for those of you watching, you got to stick around because we're going to be, Shawn's definitely going to be telling you about, the new party principle on how you get social media success. You got to be here. And it's kind of, it's interesting because I think it shows an arc that a lot of people go through. They listen to a lot of pundits, and like you had said, they listen to a lot of pundits who are in it for themselves before they find out what really resonates with their avatar and with their ideal client. So let me ask you that. Once you started, instead of going out and as they say, net fishing versus spear fishing, once you started to spear fish and once you had Gavin as that avatar and once you were able to talk directly to Gavin, how'd that change your business?
It made a it made a consistent flow of leads. Uh, but the remarkable thing is, by the use of video and the use of video in the space, it was the staff noticed, I noticed, you could feel people would walk in the door of what's it's a pretty intimidating place, Craig. I mean, this is Flex Fitness Center. It's world famous. This is an intimidating place. There are world champions abound, right? It's not. This isn't Planet Fitness, okay? Uh, and so when people walk in, they're a little bit intimidated usually, and I'm not saying rightly so. They're just I'll just let that be. But they'll walk in. But what you could see was they would relax, their respiration would relax, their comfort zone would, because they recognized the space. They'd been there before, right? It'd been right in their hand. That I've been here before. Oh, I've seen. I know you. You're the guy on the video, right? Or I've seen him or her. They're on videos, right? And I've been here before. And you'd see. So some things would happen is, when you come in a gym, you go on a tour, right? I don't know why that is, but that's what it is. That's what happens. So people would come in and we'd say, would you like to come tour this? And they're like, no, I'm good. I've seen it. I'm completely confident based on what I've seen online that this is the culture that I want to be in. Else I would not be here, right?
Yeah.
And what the reality is that people that would have been afraid when they walked in, they didn't even come in because they knew what happened in there, right? And
Yeah.
the folks that wanted to be there, that made sense for them, they oh, here, yep, this is congruent. Everything is that, yep, this is congruent. You're the same guy. You're authentic. You're real. Yep, I saw that guy. Everything. I'm good.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Right?
Well, and that
And
beca-
we
yeah.
were able to do that before they ever walked in the door.
Yeah, and that becomes a real key. It's funny because back in the day, I grew up around and worked out same place as a couple of professional wrestlers. So I mean, it's something that I kind of get how intimidating that environment can be, and you have to it's something that it will attract who it attracts, and it will attract your right clientele.
Hmm.
And fact of the matter is whether you own a gym or whether you own a brick and mortar store or whether whether you're doing things on the internet, you too can attract those ideal clients who are just going to say, you're congruent, I like you, I want to be around you, I want you here, I'm good. And for people, I mean, it's we'll talk about social media in a little bit. That's really the key of social media, and whether it's video or other pieces of social media, to get your ideal client to recognize themselves, and like you said, recognize themselves when you're talking and be attracted to being
And
around you and in your business.
it's the same. It's a little bit of movie star, right? It's a little bit of movie star because people think they know you, right?
Yeah.
I've seen you. I heard you. I've seen you in different emotional states. Right? And I mean, they know you, right? I mean, they and in their mind, they don't know the difference, right? Your mind cannot tell the difference between if that was your face or a camera. If that's your nose or a camera, your mind doesn't really know the difference. Right? It's just you're seeing me, feeling me, hearing me, and people had they just resonated, right? Or they didn't, and that's cool, right? If they don't resonate, don't come here. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
And that's if you want to talk about tips in this process. The other thing that we figured, once we understood our avatar, we also understood who was not our avatar, and we no longer welcomed them, right? And we didn't say, go away, but we no longer welcomed them. And so we used to waste, frankly, a good deal of their time and our time with people who were not good fits for our culture, but we wanted their money, right?
Yeah.
And because we needed their money, right? But they weren't a good fit. And when we actually got more efficient, more effective, and dialed in who that clientele was and what they wanted and who they weren't, and that we got much more efficient and we got much more profitable because we knew who we wanted and who we did not. And those that we did not, they never came in, they never joined. We didn't convince them to join, right? And then they weren't unhappy, right? So the only people that come in now, almost exclusively, are people that fit, and they're happy when they join, and the whole thing goes well. And you know. But these are, you mentioned this earlier, and it's important, and I'll just take it if I can. These are universal principles, right? These are universal principles. It's true of every business, right? And every market and every business and every town. It's no different in Knoxville or Dallas or Sacramento, right? These are human things. So when I discovered this and became good at this, and at Caterpillar I had been a trainer. That's why I was out dealing with dealers all the time. I was training them in effectiveness. And frankly, I got bored. That vision I had of working in the gym, I got bored. And so I'm learning about business in a new way that I didn't know before. I now have an empathy for business owners that I didn't have before, right? I didn't understand before. And I'm learning all of this effectiveness, in how to do these things and get my company profitable. And I'm a trained trainer, right? And I'm just going nuts. So I started to train other companies. I started to train other businesses, and that's from that grew a consulting company, and from that grew other opportunities and things like the College Suite that you mentioned. Now that's a little acquisition that we made and brought into our consulting company. So it's just grown and grown from there. But that's the journey, right? And you talk about the job. The hero's journey is not complete until the hero returns from whence he came and gets somebody and brings them out, right, and shows them the way out, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I had to go and tell other people, how to do these things that I had figured out how to do. I could not help myself, and that's the fulfillment of the journey, right? Is when it's not just that you escape from the village, right, and you beat the evil knight and you escape. That's cool, but until you go back to the village and grab a hand of somebody else and show, I beat the knight. I got this. Don't worry. Let me show you the way around the dark night. It's cool. We got this. And until you do that, the hero's journey is not complete.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think that's a great place to lead the hero's journey on, and to kind of wrap up this piece of the show. Folks, you've been watching, an epic guy, Shawn Miller, who's had a very interesting journey from being in corporate America with Caterpillar to buying a fitness center, turning that into a very successful fitness center with a few bumps along the way. And now helping people realize that social media, at least one piece of his consulting business, helping people realize that there's this new party principle of social media that's going to lead to your success. So stick around. We'll be right back, and we're going to dive much more into the new party principle for social networking success. Give us about 30 seconds, and we'll be right back.
To watch the rest of this epic episode now, click on the link below the video. Do it now. You'll be glad you did. Are you still here? What are you waiting for? Watch the rest of this epic episode now by clicking on the link below the video.